You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
That's right, without vomiting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of vomiting. I don't think anybody is really.
Who is?
Who is?
I miss David.
Yeah,
I miss David. And you know what? When when he provided that sort of promo and show mascot meme, sort of speak, he was all happy to. Even though he said, "I'm not going to take any credit for that because one of our arch nemesis coined it," and that's fine. I'm going to give David all the props for that because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very fitting of this.
And
show.
we were made honorary members of the Evil Cabal.
The Evil Cabal.
Yeah, we're card-carrying members.
Card-carrying members of the Evil Cabal. So if anybody would like to join, just let us know.
Send us money on PayPal.
No, I don't think PayPal works very well.
Yeah.
No, we gotta find out a better transfer system of money. Bitcoin.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Send us all your Bitcoins.
That's right.
I use PayPal all the time, but I'm finding increasingly that they are taking more and more. They're taking more blood from you. You know.
Yeah, man.
What? What is that?
Kevin's in chat.
Hey,
Kevin.
And Kevin's going to come on in a little bit.
Yeah, Kevin's coming on.
He's going to tell us his story. And of course, guys.
And he's going to be dancing around a stripper pole too. So be aware.
Kevin's all too fitting for Kevin. So, and that, you guys are more than welcome to join us as well. If you guys have a story that you'd like to share that pertains to like Deja Vu, a really freaky sort of Deja Vu story, or precog dream, or time slip. We did a little preview show earlier on this afternoon, which went over pretty cool. And I want to thank Dan and Sab and for you guys for coming on. And again, once again, you guys are more than welcome to come on as well this evening to sort of carry on that wonderful conversation we were having.
Yeah, we were getting really into it.
Yeah, that was a cool discussion.
Like I joined late, but
well, that's par for the course. You always join late.
Yeah,
you're a late bloomer.
I am.
You're a late bloomer.
But yeah. Nevertheless, it was a really good conversation.
It was very, and unfortunately, we had to cut it short because, we.
Doria says she's got a lot, so please do love us.
Yeah, we'd love you to join us if you want to. We'd love to hear them and discuss them if you'd like to share them with us. It's I'm telling you, man, that the Leafs suck.
Oh, let's not get into that.
No, I just did.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Cools, how are you? Cools. I was plural with cool tools. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. So what do you think? Is he going to be suspended? Matthews?
Oh, I didn't watch the whole game. I fell asleep.
Well, apparently he cross-checked Buffalo defenseman.
Did he?
Yeah, right in pretty much in the face. But the guy wasn't hurt or anything. It didn't flinch him. Come on, this is Matthews cross-checking.
Yeah, whatever. I've seen worse done. I mean, I didn't see what he did, so I can't really comment on it. But
yeah,
there's been a lot of stuff that people have done that they've gotten away with. So I don't know if this will be a suspendable issue.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we'll Kevin, we'll bring you on in the few minutes here. Again, once again, that pertains to anybody else who would like to join us on the panel. Kevin's got a story he'd like to share about an experience he had. So we're gonna listen to Kevin's story and him sort of rib Alex like he normally does. Hey, Adrian, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing better. I know I was reading there you had surgery there not too long ago, so hopefully you're doing well. Yeah. Yeah, what an interesting sort of topic. I mean, we've all been sort of affected by this. I mean, we've all had a bout of deja vu here and there, or precog dreams, like our dreams that just seem so vivid and like you can control them and control them and sort of surf the waves. Frank, how are you? Hey, how's it going, Frank? And Frank had, Frank had some good stories when we sort of crashed his show on Friday night. So
that's right.
Frank, by all means, if you'd like to join us too, that's we'd love to hear your stories again. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat for Kevin if he wants to pop in, and of course anybody else that would like to pop in and sort of share their experiences with us all. We certainly would love to hear it. And here, let me just put it in chat there. Okay, let's see. And there we go. There we go. So, okay, well, Alex, we talked a little bit about experiences that we've had.
Yeah.
A little bit. Anything else that's come to mind since?
Well, there was one story that I was waiting to tell on this show. It wasn't anything of a big deal, but this is back when I was a child, and we were still living in Italy at the time. And our house is situated on a hill, so at the bottom of the hill was this ice cream store that I used to always go to as a kid. And this was a dream that I had. So in the dream, I went to the ice cream store like I normally did, grabbed the usual. And then as I walked out of the ice cream store, I looked down and, those cement tiles, I guess, for lack of a better term, I was standing on one that had a crack in the middle. And I looked up and I saw this lady all dressed in all black walking down the hill towards me. Right. And that's where the dream stopped. And I woke up, obviously, went to the ice cream store in the morning, grabbed an ice cream. I don't know if it was morning or maybe late morning, early afternoon. I went there, grabbed the ice cream, came out, looked down. I saw that cement tile that was cracked. And I looked up and sure enough, there's a lady dressed in black walking down. So I guess you can call that a precog. It wasn't really deja vu, but it was a sort of like a precog dream, I guess, to some extent.
Did you feel like you were in control?
No.
Well, then you suck.
I was also 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old.
Well, for a 5-year-old, did you feel like you're in control?
Not at all.
So you just let it just play out. You didn't try to resist any of it. You're like, okay, I gotta wake up. No,
the dream was very quick. So as soon as I saw the lady walking down that was dressed in black, I woke up.
Well, okay, let me ask you though. Quick in the sense of what? A time frame if you were conscious,
yes.
Or quick in the sense of being, in REM, like in sleep mode, like dream mode.
No, it was quick in the sense that the whole scenario was very brief. Like there was no lead up to it. The dream started, or at least where I remember it, is me literally coming out of the ice cream store and looking down and seeing that cracked tile, and then looking up and seeing that lady walking down the street wearing all black. And then I woke up. So it was a very quick time frame.
Mm-hmm.
When I actually went that day, after I woke up, when I went to the ice cream store, I got the same usual. I came out and I, looked down, and sure enough, there was that cracked tile. And I looked up and sure enough, there was that lady. Which is kind of weird. I mean, I know in Europe, in Italy especially, and in a lot of Catholic countries, when someone dies, I know the wife, like say for example, her husband passes away. Technically, you're supposed to wear black for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Not that everybody does it, but the older generation did it more so than obviously now. So it's not uncommon to see someone, a lady wearing black, walking down the street.
Okay.
However, it's the whole sequence of events that are, that occurred that kind of gave me pause because, going to the ice cream store, coming out and looking down at the cracked tile on the floor, and then looking up and immediately seeing her, that was more than just, coincidence.
Interesting, Alex. Yeah, I've had a few dreams that have sort of, okay, there's a lot of meaning to this, and just exactly what that meaning is, it just, yeah, and I did for a while keep a dream journal because there was a period when I was having some really, really, really vivid dreams that just, oh man, you could build a story upon. Anyways, we have our first victim.
Our first victim.
Our first.
Sweet.
Kevin, sir, how are you?
I'm doing okay, man.
Kevin.
How you doing?
Good,
How you doing?
good. We're doing good. We just finished hearing Alex's dream story there when he was a kid, and
I missed it. He probably told me that.
Well, you know what kind of threw me off was it was about ice cream and not burritos.
Yeah, well, I haven't experienced burritos yet.
It might have the same effect anyway, so I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have a story or two that you'd like to share. Did you want to go ahead?
Sure.
Yeah,
why not? Thanks for having me on, by the way, guys.
well,
It's
thanks
always
for
fun when
coming on.
it's not a big story or anything like this, but it was sort of funny when I saw the title when you put it up later on this afternoon. You said, I suggested Deja Vu, but you also put Precog in there.
Mm-hmm.
And my dream was actually precognition. It was ESP based. It's not a big thing, but it was funny. And here it is. When I was a kid, just like I guess Alex, I had a bunk bed. Even though I'm an only child, I wasn't an only child. I had a bunk bed. Just made it fun. I was able to, pretend it was a spaceship and go on the top bunk or whatever else. But I'd usually sleep on the bottom bunk because you don't want to fall off going to the bathroom or anything like this. So one day, I guess in summer, I went to bed kind of early,
Mm-hmm.
and I dreamt. What did I dream? I think I dreamt that I was scared of something or some sort. Maybe it was a ghost or whatever. I'm not sure. That wasn't the important part. The important part was I'm on the bottom bunk. I awaken. I get up with a startle, and I hit my head on the top bunk. Then
It was fun.
I actually get up. I wake up. I get up with startled, and I hit my head on the top bunk. The exact same way. The exact same way. So I had to sit there. Wait a minute. Did I dream? Was that real? Did that happen? Should I play the lottery? Huh? I wasn't sure. But,
Maybe you had a dream within a dream.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was confusing enough that it made me just sort of think. I mean, I'm sort of a believer, religious of a sort or whatever else, but I also believe there are things that we don't know about. So the power of dreams and the power of ESP and everything else, I don't discount it. So this happening to me, I know it happened, so I believe it. And there's power in different things that we don't know about or that we haven't researched as of yet. Mm-hmm. So, and there's probably untapped resources in our head or things that we detect, whether or not it's a time slip or we see the cat cross us twice again when we're walking across the sidewalk or something. Things like this do happen. For example, have you ever had a dream that you dreamt about somebody and thought, well, wait a minute, I saw her before. What? Huh? What are you doing here again? Then you talk to them.
Here we go. I'm waiting for the. Here we go. Alex.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's almost like that's like the proverbial glitch in the Matrix scenario, right?
Yeah, exactly. You saw the women in red and you're wondering why.
Yeah.
So I've had something like that happen before, but my main dream was just dreaming that I got up, and then dreaming, even perspective, shadow, whatever else, the same amount of pain. Everything was the same. So I had to sit there with my eyes looking, wait a minute. And then I laughed to myself because I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Scenarios like that, you have to kind of laugh at it, right?
Yeah,
But I mean, it is interesting how stuff like that does happen, though. You know what I mean? It's like it's intriguing that it even, you hear the sort of explanations from from some of the scientific communities saying, trying to justify, like, deja vu, for example, is basically someone or something to the extent of, you've experienced something, but your brain hasn't processed it fully immediately. And when it does, it feels like it's a deja vu sort of scenario. You know what I mean? It's almost like a delay in the transmission between your senses and your brain. But if that's the case, and there's a delay, your brain wouldn't process it because it hasn't gotten to it yet. So how would it be a deja vu?
Well, and Frank has something in the comments that we should look at. He dreamt about somebody that he hadn't seen for years, and all of a sudden they bump into them. Where did that come from?
I threw that up. Yeah. Even throw another twist in there. Somebody in your dream, and it's in fact maybe several over your years, that it's like a reoccurring person in that dream, but you have no idea who that person is, but yet you see that person regularly in your dreams.
Did it become somebody of note later on in your life?
I know. I've witnessed somebody in my dreams, but I cannot tell you who the hell they are.
Male or female?
It was a male. No, somebody I knew. No, somebody I knew in my dreams, but I didn't I never I can't place them.
Have you ever seen them in actuality?
No, that's what I mean. I can't place them. I can't place them. Which is really weird. But you know what I mean? There's so many things that we dream of and we don't catch. Obviously, I mean, our perception when we wake up is, I mean, we probably only have a glimpse of what we actually dream, because I mean, when we're in sleep mode, we're constantly dreaming, as far as I know, right? It's a constant.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, supposed to be constantly dreaming, but I mean, we don't sort of recall the full thing when we wake up. Well, only bits and pieces if we're lucky.
A good chunk of the time you don't. However, like you said, Steve, you remember bits and pieces. And I know for myself, I don't even remember bits and pieces the majority of the time. It's literally a scenario where I go to sleep, I wake up in the morning, and I don't remember anything majority of the time. There are times when I do remember bits and pieces, but the majority of the time I'll wake up and I don't remember a damn thing. Right? Unless it's a really messed up dream. Like, I've had in the past really messed up dreams where they've stuck with me even to this day because they're so messed up. But for the most part, I don't remember a thing.
You don't remember a thing?
Oh.
That is scary.
It's like that Apple TV show, Severance. They go to work and they have no idea what happened when they went there.
Which one? Which was
It's called Severance.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that, yeah.
Yeah.
What? No, I've never heard of that. What is this?
Oh, they do commercials all the time on TV, regular TV for it.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any. Cool. Yeah, I mean, dreams are definitely, and you kind of wonder, like, are they a lead into sort of a forewarning, or trying to teach you something, or to show you something, a glimpse perhaps into what might happen in your future, or let's go way out there. Maybe again, deja vu. The meaning of that, like, I feel like I've been there before. Are your dreams sort of like a piece to that puzzle?
I'm not sure. I think you had that dream researcher that was based in, I can't remember what state, but she was a fascinating guest that you had on last year.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
don't know whether or not you went into the time slip version of it, because there might be a time travel version that sort of, or time travel component
Mhm.
to dreams as well. I remember that she said that there was a very scientific study where they were able to isolate the part of the brain that does the dreaming, when they dream, why they would react and not react, and measure the parts of the brain, just like with a sleep study, where
Yeah.
when you're active and when you're not, and when you're lucid and when you're not.
Mhm.
So when you're able to control yourself in the dream as well. So she might be somebody to shed some light on this as well.
Yeah. She was an interesting guest. She's a part of a study, right, Alex?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. That was an interesting show. And
It was.
let me, I'll ask Alex, what was her name again?
Oh, I'm bad with names. You know I'm bad with names.
That's why
Go
I'm
back in the
asking.
archive.
Yeah, I have to go back to the archive. Yeah, Cool Tools asked the question, or not really asked kind of a question, saying anyone ever had 6 or 7-year-old boy come into your room and sit on your bed? The room smelt of smoke, and when I've had it, apparently it's a common one.
I've never had that. No.
Is that a warning for a fire?
Good question.
I don't know.
I've never had anything like that before. That's interesting. I've had some pretty dark dreams, like pretty apocalyptic dreams, and again, I can only memorize certain bits and pieces of them, and they're very traumatizing. They're very they're almost like it's a nightmare essentially. Like an end of world sort of scenario, like a just complete chaos all around you, and you're just trying to weed your way through this. And I'm sure that's a pretty common sort of, again, nightmare with a lot of people. They have that sort of chaotic dream, but they don't remember the whole dream. They just remember bits and pieces to it. I mean, have you guys ever had something like that?
Not in that sense.
No?
Not like a doomsday kind of dream, sort of.
Okay.
I've had messed up dreams, but not like that.
No.
You've had
The only. Sorry, what was that?
Go ahead,
Steve?
Kevin. No, I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
The weirdest or funniest dream I ever had is I dreamt I was in a Godzilla movie and I was a kaiju. But everybody else was animated, so I was the guy who had to fight Godzilla in order to save the city. But I felt something on my side when we were going at each other, and when I woke up, it was the covers that had come off on me on that side. So it wasn't apocalyptic, but it was like Astro Boy, but it was really
Astro
weird.
Boy. Oh,
Yeah,
Boy.
that's how it was animated like. So, but it was weird. But it was I got up. I didn't feel traumatized or anything. I felt a little bit of danger because I knew I was fighting Godzilla, but I felt that I had the ability to handle him. So
Yeah.
who knows? Nothing apocalyptic.
Yeah, that was it. That would be interesting. You were the guy in the rubber suit.
yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Oh no! Somebody has to come in. Oh, it's Kevin. All right, we're okay now. I don't know.
Oh God. Yeah. Dreams are. I mean, continuing on with dreams, it's just again, you have your good dreams, you have your bad dreams, you have your sort of middle of the road dream, and then you have ones that, well, later, I don't remember it. Was that good or bad? Couldn't have been that good because you don't remember it. But then again, it couldn't have been that bad because you don't remember it either, right? I mean, either or. They could be good or bad, different ends of the spectrum. And you think you'd remember a little bit about that dream.
I figure when it comes to remembering dreams, it's a matter of focus. So if you don't always remember it, that could be a psychological block just to protect yourself as well. But I find
filters,
when when I focus on something, or wait a minute, what was the last thing I remember? Oh, wait a minute, I was flying. Okay, well, that can't be real. That must have been a dream. So when you kind of think for a little bit and think back, your last memory, if you go back into it, I find if you do the same sort of meditation as you get up, it takes a little, just like anything else. If you focus on it, or you put a certain amount of effort into it, you're able to get out of it. Well, it's how it works for me anyway. I don't always remember my dreams, but when I do, and you get out of REM sleep like that, wait a minute, what did I remember? This. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's usually the bits and pieces of it that a lot of people apparently remember,
Yeah,
right?
it's not the full thing. It's not the full thing, but
I mean, another thing is like, do you guys find that your dreams seem a little bit more vivid when you're younger, or as you as you get older, they seem to fade in remembrance, or in some cases maybe
Intensity?
intensity? Yeah, intensity.
I would
Whatever.
tend to agree with that, Steve, only
No,
because
I just it's just posing a question. That's all.
no, but I'm saying I tend to agree with that only because the few really oddball dreams that I've had were when I was really young, and in my later years, there are some times when like I said, there are occasional times when I have snippets where I remember, but nothing of intensity. The really intense dreams are the ones that felt like I was actually there were when I was younger.
Maybe it has to do with the more the older you get, the more experience you sort of have under your belt, the more things you understand.
This probably doesn't help either.
Well, that probably does help. You probably have some nice dreams with that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, that's why I like the haze.
Yeah. I told this before about one of my dreams where I got over my fear of flying. It was through a dream, right? And it was a very lucid dream, meaning that I actually felt the like flying part. Yeah, and that's what made me not made me, but that's what I guess helped me overcome my fear of flying, right? So and I was like maybe 10 when I had that dream, So, but since then, like I said, I've remembered bits and pieces there and there, and that's it.
What about repetitive dreams? What about dreams that you've had before? Have you? I find I have that quite often. I find that I will have a dream, and I'm in like a certain situation, like I might be in a certain location, or there are people around, and the scenarios it's familiar. Like I'm in a place from my past, maybe, or something. And of course, you don't remember the whole thing. I just remember bits and pieces. But I find over the years, I've had dreams that are either similar or almost exactly the same. It's almost like it's a continuation of that dream from years ago. Oh, we're getting a little bit of reverb there.
Echo. Is it me again?
It might be, yeah.
Well, you can let me go if you like. We can make more room for anybody else to join the stream and have their input into dreams and ASP.
All right, Kevin.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Kevin.
No worries.
Take care.
Take care. You too. Thanks.
I know what you're saying, and I can't remember if when we did the show this afternoon, the impromptu show, and Sab was talking about I don't know if he's going to be on tonight or if he's going to be able to come on the show tonight. So if he doesn't, I'll just give a quick sort of overview of what he was relating to me over I think he had gone to the washroom.
Yeah.
But he had a scenario where he had a dream that carried over multiple days. So the way he was explaining it was, he would have, it's almost like an episode, like a TV show. The first night he dreamt of this part, and then the next night was the continuation of that dream, and then the next night was a continuation. It's almost like a series that kept going for I think he said somewhere like 6 nights, right?
Really?
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, it'd be nice if he can come on, and I don't know if he's watching the show now, but if he is, come on and relate it himself, because I don't want to butcher it. But that was very intriguing, like what he was saying, that it was like literally a long dream that carried over multiple nights.
Yeah, like I said, my sort of thing is, it's been bits and pieces over the years, and like I said, it almost seemingly like a sort of a rerun or
Mhm.
rehash, or like a sort of a continuation, or an alternative sort of bit to what I experienced in my dream. It was just really weird. It's just really weird, and every once in a while, I'll go back uh, into that similar dream, and just like it's almost like I'm trying to analyze it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm
Yeah.
just trying to analyze it, trying to understand. We got. Hold on a sec here. Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, Frank, how's it going?
Good evening.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah, I thought I'd make the effort come up.
Oh, it's about time. We're glad to have you, buddy.
Yeah, talking about repetitive dreams, my dad told me about one that he had when he had a repetitive dream that lasted from the time he was like a little boy up until he was 35.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was, he was in a posh garden, with all the topiary and the carved hedges, and he was walking down like a tunnel of like rose bushes.
Yeah.
Turned a corner, and it opened up, and it had a big fountain and like a big pond.
Okay.
And he walks up to the pond, and he can't stop himself falling in. And as he's looking into it, it's full of piranhas.
Oh, wow.
And that's when he wakes up. That's his recurring dream, and he has it hundreds of times through his life.
Just imagine if he doesn't wake up and he falls in the pond of piranha, what will happen?
Yeah, but the strange thing is, there was one day he was driving along. He was a taxi driver. He was driving along the motorway, and he was going to some place he'd never been before. He was a bit lost. He was looking for a turn off. He was behind this car that kept brake checking him and speeding up and slowing down. And so he thought, oh, I'll turn off here and read the map and look where I'm going. And he turns off the road, and he goes down this little country road, and he recognises this archway. I think that looks familiar. I'll drive in there. I've seen this before. And he drives in there, and he sees it's like the gardens.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks, oh, this is weird. So he gets out, and he starts walking in there, and it all looks the same to him. And he gets a terrible fear, and he goes back, and he sits back in his car, and he sits down for about half hour, has a flask of tea, waits for a little while, and then drives off again back on the motorway because he knows where he's going now. And after about 15 minutes of driving down the road, comes across, he has to pull up, sirens, there's blue lights everywhere. Been a massive 18-car pile-up.
Ooh. Holy.
And which he would have probably been in if he hadn't pulled off the road that day.
Wow. That is, wow, that's something else.
That's like a precognition warning.
Yeah, a warning.
Yeah, for sure.
That wow.
I think we're all capable of that. It's just that we've been conditioned since children to not believe in this sort of thing. So that for the most part, the majority of us have grown up, most of our lives saying, that's not real. It's just a bunch of crap or whatever the case is. So that when you get to a certain age and you start wondering about it, it's hard to kind of break out of that sort of, for lack of a better term, a jail, because you want to be able to be more open-minded, but you just don't know how. When the older you get, unfortunately. But like some people, for maybe because they're even more sensitive than majority of us, have these sort of things almost on a regular basis. And I'm kind of envious on it, because I'd love to have these sort of weird scenario dreams where I can foretell certain things and what have you. But it's fantastic when you hear stories like this.
I've only ever had one dream myself that's come true, and so only once in my life. I was in mid-20s at the time, so that's the one I told you yesterday. Was it Friday on my stream?
Yeah. Do you want to share it again?
Yeah, I was about 2 years old, very young, and I had a very bad whooping cough. I'd just come down with it like the day before, the doctor had come out and see me. I had a really high fever, high temperature. I was really sick, very sick. And the doctor goes away, and then that evening, I noticed a light in the corner of the room. And in the corner of my room, it was like a corner wardrobe thing, like cupboards and things in the corner. And out of it, out of the light, came this old man dressed in like a suit, white hair, quite not short hair either, sort of shoulder length white hair. And he comes over to the bottom of my head and he's smiling, and I feel relaxed. I'm not scared or nothing. And he touches my feet, and then he comes around to the side of my bed and he starts talking to me, just like general stuff. And I'm smiling and laughing, and I can't remember what was said, but he asked about I had this little model taxi on the side of my bedside. It was a little Matchbox toy car of a London cab taxi. And he asked me about that, and I told him about my dad's being a taxi driver and all of this. And then he just goes back off into the corner of the room, into the light, and disappears. And then I'm calling out, Mum, Dad, man in the light, man's gone in the light, man in the light. So they come running in, checking the windows, checking the cupboards, checking everywhere. Everything's all locked up. Couldn't find nothing. And within the next 20 minutes, I'm climbing over the furniture. Nothing wrong with me. Fever gone. Really weird.
That is weird.
It's like almost like if you want to call it that, like almost like a guardian angel came out and just took care of your fever.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. I used to remember it when I was little. I don't have any visual recollection of it anymore. But I could only tell this story up until I couldn't tell that story up until I was about 18. Because every time I told it, when my mum and dad used to say, "I'll tell Uncle Brian like about what happened," like, and I'd be, I don't know, 10 years old, 11 years old, trying to tell the story, and I literally couldn't tell it because of like a fear had come over me, and like the spine, and it all tingling down the spine and the head, and I'd feel horrible, and I couldn't tell the story without crying, literally crying, for a long time.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think I've ever had a dream quite like that before. I can't recall one quite like that before. At least, I mean, I probably have had dreams that have had messages in them, but nothing that sort of,
I don't know if that wasn't a dream as much as like a type of hallucination, really, or
okay. Yeah, true. Yeah. With your
could be a
condition.
hallucination from the fever, but
Or
But
one could argue that it wasn't necessarily a hallucination, but the fever caused you to see certain things that you wouldn't normally see.
yeah, that's what I now believe, is that different brain states that your brain gets in, it opens you up to a different reality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A real reality. It's like tuning in the dial on the radio.
Yeah, that's
it goes back to the story. I mean, we've discussed this in the past, Steve. I'm sure you remember. But when we talk about the world as we see it, everything vibrates at a certain frequency, and it's like you said, Frank. There's different frequencies, and the key is to be able to learn how to tune to those additional frequencies that we don't normally are not normally able to. And if you can tune into them, even when you're in a car, and you have an old analog radio station or a radio, and you tune the dial halfway between one station and the other, and you can kind of get a glimpse of both. So I think what happens a lot of the times is that when we see those fleeting glimpses of shadow people, or scenarios like what you saw or other stuff like that, it's when your mind is at that sort of state where it's kind of in between our reality and the next.
Yeah, but it leads you to think about reality as a whole, though, too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
What is reality in some cases? I mean, you're in a state in your own life, and trying to understand what's real and what's not. You're just like, certain things are happening around you, and you're like, is this real? This just doesn't seem real. This, I mean, obviously huge events, catastrophic events can cause that. And, like, is this really happening?
I think that might be the case with ghosts as well. Like, it's certain, especially when you get a building that's like known to be haunted, and it's reoccurring there over years and years and years. People see things. I think it's something to do with the way the building's built and what it does to your consciousness in there. I mean, that's why they built churches to be the way they were originally. It was to lift the spirit and create a different consciousness in the architecture. I think some old buildings have that as well as events happening in them as well. So, but I think there's it changes something in the brain, puts your brain on a different frequency.
Meditation definitely does that. I know that. Well, that's what it's supposed to do. Nevertheless, like, I mean, and you hear a lot of, like, even with the Christian churches with the chanting. That's supposed, like, you do it enough times, or even the prayer for that matter. When you pray repeatedly, it's supposed to theoretically put you in an altered state.
Yeah.
Well, it's the vibration, it's the frequency, right?
And the repetitiveness, yes.
And the repetitiveness. Mimi, this is cool. Again, sort of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult to explain, other than it's an experience that I'm sure we've all had, but we have trouble explaining it, like a lot of things. And again, I think obviously a lot of it has to do with conditioning when we were kids, like you mentioned, Alex.
Yeah. And another thing I think for the majority of people, I can't really speak for the majority. I can only speak for myself, but it's an assumption on my part. Part of the reason why also we don't, I guess, allow ourselves to open up is the fear of the unknown. Most people are afraid of the unknown, whether they like to admit it or not. So opening yourself up really opens the floodgates, so to speak, and you just don't know what to expect when you do that. And for that reason, I think a lot of people are hesitant to do it fully, if for lack of a better term, right? And that's what's preventing us from, and that again stems from all the indoctrination we've had as kids, saying, anything that deals with the occult or any paranormal stuff is all gonna lead you to hell kind of deal scenario, right? So we've been brainwashed with this stuff for so long that we believe it even though we don't want to believe it.
Like the occult, they say you might open a doorway to stuff to come through and
exactly.
Yeah,
we've been conditioned to believe that all our lives, that whether we like to admit it or not. Now, I'm sure a lot of people don't even realize this. The reason why they don't allow themselves to sort of open themselves up to this sort of stuff is because of that innate fear that's been, conditioned into us since we were children.
The conditioning. It's always the conditioning. I mean, that's why they say kids are more open to sort of psychic abilities.
Yeah.
And I do believe when we're young, we do sort of have that. I think we all have that ability. And because of the domestication or conditioning, social conditioning, we lose that ability. It becomes a fog. But some people are able to retain it. I mean, there are a lot of people that do have that ability.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people obviously lose that ability, and it is, no matter how much you try, can't regain it. But there are people who can regain it.
Yeah, it's like anything else in life. There are people who are naturally gifted with certain things, performing certain tasks over others. I mean, anybody can do anything in the world if they put their mind to it. But there are people who are naturally gifted at certain things that to them it comes a lot easier than most. This is no different. When it comes to psychic abilities or when it comes to this sort of stuff, there are some people who it just comes more naturally to them. Whereas for the majority of us, we have to actually work at it to get to that level. So for even for them, like if they've been conditioned their whole lives, and then all of a sudden they wake up and saying, you know what, this is nuts. I don't want to, I want to be able to see what's out there.
Mhm.
And when they come to that realization, it comes to them a lot quicker than it would for most of us. Whereas for you and me, Steve, for example, if we wanted to do that, it'd probably take years before we even get to that level.
Yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out to folks in chat there. There's a lot of people, Sue, Darren, Melissa, Cool Tools, Crazy John, Dan's there, Joe, Scoob, Epic Moments is there. Once again, guys, you're Adrian. You're more than welcome to join us. Again, this is completely open, and if you guys got a story or two that you'd like to share about, dreams, deja vu, or whatever, time slips. I mean, we during the pre-show that we had earlier today, I was kind of talking about a time slip I had, and I think Dan was talking about one he had experienced as well. So I mean, time slips are another thing where people lose track of. They like a block of time literally escapes you. I don't know. Have you ever had that experience, Frank, at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one time, it's actually associated with a UFO sighting.
Oh,
that my
wow.
mum had.
Yeah.
I was about 15 years old, and I was sitting in my sitting room with my dad watching. Actually, I think I was playing a computer game, and my dad was watching me play it, like in the living room, because in those days we had to use the TV downstairs, like the watching TV, to play our computer games on. So we could only do it in the afternoon. And my mum was out the back, talking to our neighbour over the fence, and it must have been about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sort of early afternoon.
Mhm.
And my dad asked me to go and call mum, because my dad made lunch or something. So
Yeah.
call my mum for lunch. So I went out and I looked over to my mum, and I remember it standing on the doorstep and watching her talk. And all of a sudden, it's dusk, and I walk back in, and it's a summer's night, so it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night almost, and that was weird. And then my next day, my mum was talking about her and the neighbour seeing a big, massive black triangle come over the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mum woke up with bruises all down her legs the next day as well.
Oh, wow.
That was weird. I don't remember anything from it other than losing that time.
Yeah. I mean, the only time that I can remember was actually just a couple years ago. Last year, sorry. And I was driving home from work, and there's like literally, like, it usually takes me about a half an hour, roughly about a half an hour to 40 minutes, depending on traffic, to get home from work. And there's literally a portion of that drive. And I got to a certain point. I remember stopping at traffic lights and sitting there going, how the hell did I get here? Like, I literally could not remember, from one point to how I got there. I'm like, I remember leaving work. I remember, doing the regular route, whatever else. And then, all of a sudden it just seemed really weird that wait a sec. This is weird. I really don't remember that chunk of time has completely been erased.
That happens to me a lot driving though.
Yeah.
It's especially on journeys that I've done 100 times before.
Yeah.
I think I just go into autopilot mode, and I don't think of where I am or nothing. I'm just autopilot.
Yeah.
That's happened to me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've not lost any time in those.
No, but I mean, I just, no matter what, I could not remember anything. like in terms of, you know, the past, whatever, however it was, like 10 minutes or whatever, that chunk of time that just was in question. It's just like, okay, I don't remember passing here. I don't remember passing there. Oh, wait a sec. I do it on a daily basis, but how come I don't remember doing it today? It's really weird.
Dan, Dan should get up and punch. He should tell his story about his time missing. That's good.
Yeah, he did share it earlier. But yeah, Dan, if you want to come back on and share that story again with everybody, that'd be cool. Yeah, that was an interesting story of missing time. That memory of time is just really weird. And
That
you know,
deja vu stuff, I don't really remember much. I've had plenty of deja vu experiences, but I can't really pinpoint one. That deja vu is sort of more fleeting, isn't it? It's more.
yeah, more fleeting.
It's more.
It's like snap of the finger,
And it's
and
gone.
it just kicks in and it's gone. It's like, wait a sec. Dan's with us here. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Hey.
Okay.
And
Your story is
in high demand.
It's in high demand here.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, so like, yeah, it was weird. The weirdest thing about it was I wasn't by myself. I was with two other people in a car, right? And all three of us were like, how in the hell did we just get from where we were to here? And we got here an hour faster than we should have gotten here.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
None of us could explain it, right? We were thinking, well, what? Maybe we just got high, right? And we just spaced, but it didn't make any sense. We knew when we left. We knew when we left, what time it was when we left, and then when we got to where we were going, it was like an hour too soon, and we didn't remember traveling through a whole like area. It was like we went from Austin to the town we were going to, and we didn't see any of the landmarks that you usually drive past. You know, and you notice when you're looking out the window and stuff, it was just all of a sudden like we were just like, oh, wait a minute, how are we already here? That was like all three of us were just like, how are we already here? This doesn't make any sense. And we were literally, we got home, we were all roommates, and we got home and we just sat there and we're like trying to figure out like how in the hell did this happen? Because it was weird, right? Like were we just high? Were we like, did we? Yeah, I don't know.
But the question is, were you high?
we were, but that wasn't like it. But we knew when we left, and we knew when we got there, and we knew how long it was supposed to take.
Yeah.
You didn't cross the time zone, did you?
No, we didn't cross this time zone because we were going north to south.
All right.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was during the end of daylight savings time.
They lose an hour there.
It was like, well, it was like 9 o'clock in the evening. Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't even midnight or anything that would explain
that's crazy.
that.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
It was like, because we left at like 8, and we were expecting to get where we were going at like 10, and it was 9 when we got there. You know, like when we were like, no, this doesn't make any fucking sense. It should have taken at least another 45 minutes. You know, and then we were like, well, do you remember driving past this area? And we were all like, no. How did we even get here?
That is weird.
Yeah.
You hit a like a portal, maybe.
Yeah,
just sort of
like
drove
a
through it.
portal.
Sure there wasn't any shining lights on the car or anything like that?
No, we didn't see anything like that. We were just
Happened to a few
I
pilots.
thought
hasn't it?
maybe dude was driving like way faster than we thought he was, because the speed limits here are like 80 miles an hour and people drive at 90 or 100 miles an hour on the freeway, and we were probably going like 90. But we know how long it takes when you go 90, and we got there way too fast, as if we were driving like 120, 130 miles an hour down the highway, which wasn't. I mean, we were going the speed of traffic, so it didn't make any sense.
That is weird.
It's weird. It like unexplainable. Like we had no fucking clue. We were all sitting there trying to figure it out. All three of us couldn't be crazy.
There's those stories of the pilots that go like in Bermuda Triangle stories where
Yeah.
they get to a location in half the time after experiencing something weird, like near Bermuda, where the Bermuda
Yeah.
Triangle is.
Yeah. You hear that quite often. Pilots and of course, obviously people who have sort of an experience with UFOs. Obviously, it's a common occurrence where people lose a chunk of time. Oh, my watch stopped. What? Wait a second. This is weird. It just really weird. And again, when we look at time, I mean, we basically are manufacturers of time, but are they manipulating with that manufactured time?
It's like a
And
mechanism in your brain that decides how
yeah,
fast you actually perceive time. Because
exactly.
when you're young, time goes so slow.
Yeah.
Like 6 hours in school is all damn day.
Yeah. When is it gonna end? This torture.
Yes, seriously.
Torture.
You stare at the clock and it's like tick, tick.
Occasionally it goes backwards.
Yeah, it's going backwards sometimes, I swear. But like if there's a mechanism in your brain that controls how you actually perceive time,
yeah.
like one time I felt like time was going in super slow motion when I was like 16. I remember sitting down. My mom had gotten McDonald's. She'd gotten me like a couple of double cheeseburgers, and we sat down to eat. And I remember sitting down there and thinking to myself, everything is going extremely slowly. Right? Like, and it was like noticeable. I even said something to my mom. I was like, there's something weird is going on because it's like time is going really slow.
Is this after you ate the double cheeseburgers?
No, I hadn't even touched them yet. I was just like sitting there. I didn't know it was because like in those days I used to take Adderall and Ritalin for ADHD, and I thought maybe it was like a side effect of the medication, going so fast and then slowing down.
I used to get
it was
like rushes around my head sometimes, and it was like thoughts flying past. And it felt like time was going a million miles an hour, like a rush. I used to get that when I was younger, quite a lot.
Like the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite. Everything was going a million miles an hour.
Okay, guys, hold on a second. We got to do a station identification on the radio network, so hold tight. If you guys need to take a break, grab a drink, whatever else, we'll be right back in a few minutes. He's got his Guinness draft. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So you're watching and listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, live simulcasting here on our YouTube channel. Alex I'm really surprised, Alex, you haven't told us about your burrito nightmare.
Yeah, I'll save that for another night.
You'll say that for another night. Oh man, I gotta find the I don't know where anything is gone here. What the heck? Where is it gone? There we go. Okay, guys, hold tight. Yeah. Put you to sleep or what?
Just say that.
That was designed. That was designed to put you in an altered state.
That was a messed up dream I had, by the way.
Yeah.
I have the function to show you guys messed up dreams.
I still remember one dream. I've had a lot of dreams where I'm in war for some fucking reason. And I think it has something to do with video games. But one of the most vivid dreams I ever I woke up having a dream because it was so real, right? It was weird. I was like in World War I or something. It was like trench warfare. And this guy came charging over and bayoneted me in the stomach. Like fucking got me in the stomach, right? And I remember his face, and it was my stepbrother's face. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why are you doing this? It's me, right? And I woke up. I woke up grabbing clutching my guts, like trying to put my guts back in.
Oh man.
and
I had some crazy person.
Profusely.
I had some crazy person trolling me on for a while, accusing me of being the immortal Count of Saint Germain.
Yeah,
Really?
that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
I love
wow.
that. They were saying that in chat.
So that's not like Steve. That might be the bogus bishop doing that.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, in your neck of the woods there, Frank. Well, you might be familiar with him. Sean Manchester, the Bishop Sean Manchester. He was attached to the good old Highgate vampire scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, that's fun. Guys, if there's somebody else who'd like to join us, by all means, the link's in chat there. I did put the right link. I was putting YouTube for some reason. It's because I was sharing the actual show on a few platforms for people to watch, and for some reason, I guess I forgot to copy and paste again.
What time is it? 2.
Yeah, it's pretty early there. Late, early, whatever in the UK. It's what is it? 3?
It's 2:12 in the morning. 2:30.
Oh yeah, you guys. Yeah. Fall back. That's right.
And I've got an interview at 9 a.m. So
Interview. Oh, for your benefit or whatever.
yeah, the Gestapo government want to know what I've been doing for the past week.
Yeah.
There's a nightmare in itself.
What do you do to make yourself deserve the money?
They want to send me on a course to learn how to suck eggs, basically.
Suck eggs.
It's like nearly 50 years old and been sent on a course to do something that I already know how to do.
You have to love when you're in certain situations. Yeah.
It's a waste of money.
Well, I think a lot of things that they throw at you is a waste of money. Taxpayers' money, all sorts of money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it really is. Now, sort of getting back to the weirdness of dreams and certain types of dreams, and I know, Alex, you mentioned astral projection earlier.
Yeah,
kind of.
In a sense, in a roundabout way.
In a roundabout way, and I don't know if I can't remember if you said you had an experience of that. You experienced that, or what what you think it is.
Well, okay, so it's. I think I was referring to a very vivid dream that could have been an astral projection, where I got over my fear of flying. And basically the dream, this was like when I was around 10 years old, and this is after we emigrated to Canada from Italy. So as an 8-year-old going on the plane for the very first time, I was terrified, like a lot of kids are. And when we got to Canada 2 years after the fact is when I had this dream. And there were no plans at the time for us to go back to visit at that given time when I had this dream, because I know a lot of people try to explain it away. Well, it's, you know, your mind's way of trying to get you over fear if you know you're going to be doing something. Well, we didn't know we were going to be going back to Italy. I didn't go back to Italy until the year after that. But anyway, the way it started was I was at the bottom of a grassy hill, and when we emigrated to Canada, we went to, and I, you know, Dan and Frank, you're not going to know what I'm talking about here, but Steve will have an idea. We went to the prairies, which is basically flat land. It's farming communities. It's all flat and there's no hills. But in the dream, I was at the bottom of a grassy hill, and at the top was my house, for lack of a better term, in the dream. And I was playing, minding my own business, and my mother called me saying, it's time to eat dinner. Come on up. So I ran up the hill, and beyond the house was a sheer cliff. So just a tree line and then a cliff going down. So I'm running up towards the house, and as I get to the house, beside the house, I trip on a protruding rock. I fall forward. I don't land on the ground. I start floating, and I start floating towards the cliff, and I'm trying to stop myself, and I couldn't. And as soon as I get to the cliff, I just straight down. And you know when you go on the roller coaster, that very big first hill, when your stomach's in your throat? That's how it felt. I'm going down, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to die. And before I hit the ground, I start to level off, and I start to come up again and start flying. And I could feel the sensation of flying. And that's what got me over my fear of flying, because it was it felt awesome being able to fly like that. And it was like, that feeling was just, I couldn't describe it. I couldn't even describe it to you. So after that, I actually looked forward to the next time I would get on a plane. Whereas, before that, I was terrified of getting onto a plane. So, and this is where I say it's a very vivid dream, because I could feel the sensations of dropping, and I could feel the sensation of flying. So I can't be sure that it wasn't an out-of-body experience. Maybe it was. I don't know. But I definitely felt everything. That's for sure. And I'm sure other people have felt that too. I mean,
I've flown in dreams a lot. Like, I've had so many flying dreams where you figure out how you're doing it, right? And it's like, I don't know, you're holding your arms up like this, or like you tuck your legs up underneath you, and you somehow are able to resist the gravity, and you can float, right? And you can float along without touching the ground, or maybe you can run and jump and float, and then land, and you can do it for longer and longer, and then you figure out you're actually flying, right? And you realize you're flying. And then once you realize you're flying, you want to tell other people that you can fly, and you go to other people and you go, look, if you do this, you can fly. And then everybody starts trying it, and you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Primary school. Primary school, I used to have dreams that I was in the school playground, and our school playground was covered by a big, massive, 20-foot high fence to keep us all locked in. And I used to always dream that I was to fly around the playground, up and up and up and over the fence and far away. But I was literally like Superman flying, just arms out like that, and just flying horizontal like that, looking down at the ground.
Either of you actually have the sensation of flying? It's kind of hard to explain, but it's weird how that feels. And it was one of those dreams. And this is what I was saying, referring at the beginning of the show, where, I don't remember my dreams very often, very rarely actually, unless they're really messed up dreams. And this was really a messed up dream, because for me to even dream something like this, it was weird. Plain and simple. There's no other way to put it.
Well, I think the weirdness when you mention it feels weird. Maybe it's because it kind of gives you a feeling free.
Yeah.
Actual.
Sure. That could be a possibility.
Freedom. Something that all of us have never understood. I've never felt, even though
can't do.
Yeah, it's something you can't do. I mean, there's no actual freedom.
Breathe underwater.
Yeah, there's no actual freedom. I mean, some of us think that we are free. Some of us think that freedoms are taken away and all that kind of shit. But honestly, have we ever been free? And I think that, Alex, is probably a version of what feeling 100% free is. Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
To just be able to go somewhere and not have any restrictions and not have to use fuel or any. You just like go there.
Exactly. I mean, if anything, like for instance, what we've gone through in the past couple years and restrictions, we really kind of understand now how good we had it, really, even though we weren't entirely free, but how good we had it, or how good life was to a certain point, as opposed to the last couple of years. And you're like, this is frustrating, man. So I mean, when you have a dream in the middle of that, and you're dreaming that you're flying or something similar, where it kind of feels, I think, like you're completely free. Like, this is like, wow. People have mentioned that when they've had an out of body experience, or died and come back to life, they felt a sense of freedom.
What about have you ever done the what is it, the deprivation sensory
deprivation?
Yeah.
I've never done it.
Like, people, like, your mind doesn't like not having anything stimulating it. Like, so when you're in a room or like a chamber where you can't feel anything, because usually you're floating in salt water that's the same temperature as your body, so you don't even feel the water, and it gets so still where you don't even feel it lapping up on the side. You're floating, you don't feel it lapping up on the hairs on your body or anything like that, so you have no sensation of like sitting. It's like floating in space. You have no visual sensory, and you have no audio sensory, and your brain will just make shit up because it needs something to sense. It needs something to interpret. And people become like freed by that.
It's sort of like, you can equate it to, like, you have a camera and you're taking a shot, a picture, like a digital camera. You're taking a picture in complete darkness, and that camera will try to sense what it's trying to take a picture of, and you get this picture, and it fills in the pixels with what it thinks it's supposed to be there. Sort of that kind of perception,
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a man from Berkeley who several years ago, I think about 10 years ago, invented this way of recording your imagery that you see in your brain in your dreams to video. Actual images.
Really?
Yeah.
Jack. His name is Jack Gallant. Gallant.
Jack Gallant.
Jack
I
Gallant
read about
from
that too.
Berkeley University, recording the movies in your mind. That's what he called it.
In a way that is cool, but in a way that is scary.
That is
terrifying.
That's terrifying.
That can be very terrifying.
Because then like, I mean, that's like the last vestige of what you have as pride. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Well, guess what?
If somebody says, "Oh, I can give you a computer you can hook up to your brain when you're sleeping, and in the morning you can see your dreams," right? But only you can see your dreams.
Oh, yeah, only you. Yeah.
The scary thing about it, I learned about it through reading Microsoft's patent for the cryptocurrency system based on body activity data, and in the references, the body activity data was this machine invented by Jack Gallant, which can read the movies in your mind. It's a new cryptocurrency system made by Microsoft.
Microsoft. Now they just got to put the chip in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Neuralink.
The Neuralink.
Yeah, that was referenced in there as well. That's how they're going to read the movies in your mind.
Yeah.
With a brain chip.
I think a lot of things too, and we're talking about dreams and deja vu and state of mind and time slips and obviously one of the major things obviously is chemical imbalance in the brain. A lot of people go through depression and kind of in some cases suicidal, unfortunately, because of a chemical imbalance in the brain. And a lot of times it's serotonin. The liver's not producing enough serotonin for the brain. And you have states of mind that are at times very, very frightening. I think what one, because I can relate, because I went through a period in my life where I was having that exact sort of thing where I would constantly wake up, and in the beginning everything would be clear, and then all of a sudden my head would just get so cloudy, and thoughts of mortality would just drown my every thought, and I could not escape this. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And the only, talking about freedom, the only sense of freedom I had at that point was when I was sleeping and when I was in a dream state, and I'm like, wow, this is so soothing. This is so awesome. Why can't it be like that during the day when I'm conscious? Thankfully I got out of that state, but I mean, some people can't.
Yeah, I had that for a long time, and
Yeah.
I used to just sleep most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
And it's scary. I literally, in my case, some people will resort to prescription drugs or whatever else. I did, but I quickly took myself off that because I did not like that form of control.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't in control, and I needed to be in control of my own thoughts and everything else. And I basically had to retrain my brain, if you will, or my actions or whatever, to sort of facilitate that. And thankfully it worked. But I mean, these are things that can also affect a person's dream or dreams, and their state of mind. Obviously, state of mind is a huge thing. I mean, let's face it, a lot of stuff that we go through when it comes to dreams or some weird shit that happens is like a state of mind that probably we don't understand. I mean, there's shit we don't know about the brain, and a state of minds are just, we know some things but not everything. I mean, what do you guys think about the states of mind? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think frequency, like radio frequency, it affects your mind. It affects how you think. And
yeah, we're not living in a natural environment.
yeah.
So I think our brains, when we're asleep, it's the dreams are giving us something that we should be experiencing. Like, we need to experience these things, so our brains sort of give us it when we're
you're
asleep.
not on autopilot.
Yeah.
Like, people go on autopilot, and a lot of people complain about like having anxiety or something, and it's like anxiety is like your body, it's like your mind telling you that you are still alive and experiencing reality, right?
I suffer from anxiety all the time.
Otherwise you're just going through the motions, right?
I'm always anxious. I've got anxiety always.
I used to be like that, Frank. I used to be so bad to the point where I was having panic attacks, and I'll never forget the very first time I had a panic attack. You feel like you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's like a heart attack.
yeah, but I thankfully I woke up from that, and I learned, I taught myself that that's not the end. And because I mean, essentially you're thinking the end. Yeah, this is not good. You start panicking, and then
There's something wrong. and
Yeah, your anxiety just heightens
about to
and
die.
bang. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I learned it's the things that we focus on, which puts us in the mood we're in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I learned because I was like you. I was medicated for depression and anxiety and all that stuff, and I gave them up. I went cold turkey on them. I just stopped
Yep.
going to the doctor. Literally, just never went again.
And I love how they tell you, yeah, don't wait. Don't take yourself off that, weighing yourself off it. Don't take yourself right off it like that.
No,
Why? Because you're gonna get sick. I never got sick.
I never got sick.
I never got.
I had to adjust because my sleeping patterns
that-
went upside down. And
It's like that if you take yourself off real quick, they're afraid you're going to have that sudden realization of reality.
You're gonna
Yeah.
become psychotic.
Just suddenly,
You could
like
become awake.
everything hits you at
I'm
once.
already psychotic. I don't need prescriptions to tell me
They're
that.
frightened of you being conscious and awake. That's what they're frightened of.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what it is. Like you see reality for what it is like the world
But
isn't all fucking butterflies and rainbows.
my experience, and I have no problems sharing this. Obviously, it's like I'm having issues with mortality and all that. Not suicidal, but just thinking, oh, everything. How am I going to die? And what kind of
So
way
we all
is
die
this?
of
Like,
something, right?
yeah, I mean that's a reality. Unfortunately, we all die. I mean you can't stop
What
that. I mean
happens-
if
what
you
happens when
can tell me how. But I mean, I remember. I remember it's like look at I can't I got to deal with this, and that's it. I mean, it's a normality, and I just I when they gave me the medication, they gave me because I kept saying I don't want to be on Prozac because you heard nasty things about Prozac, and I'm like, duh, I don't want to go on Prozac. But the doc goes, the psychiatrist, whatever the fuck, he goes, look at oh, no, you don't have to worry. There's this new medication on the market now, and I'm sure they always tell you that.
Yeah.
And this was used on heart whatever, and it worked so well on people who are having issues with anxiety and such. And I said, oh yeah, wonderful. What is it? And he said, what was it? Paxil. And I'm like, oh, okay. At the time, I had no clue about Paxil. It was fairly new, and I said, whatever. As long as it fucking works, then great. So I started taking this. He says, take about 2 weeks before it kicks in. So 2 weeks go by, and the red pill exactly. And I took the little blue pill, and that's what it was. It was a blue pill, and it's. I remember the day. I remember waking up and thinking, "Oh my God, my head is so clear. What the hell?" I felt like I was floating on the clouds, and I'm like, "Okay, is this finally kicked in? Let's give it a test drive." So I immediately started trying to think of something that would just normally kickstart my anxiety and fear of mortality and all that kind of shit. And it was like poof. As quickly as I thought it would just disappear, just like that, like a puff of smoke. I'm like, okay, this is fucking scarier than before. That was scarier because now I have another element in the mix here that I don't have any clue about. I have no control over, and I don't
That's
like
all
that.
the anxiety is fear of the unknown.
Exactly.
Right? What's going to happen next? That's what anxiety is. So like taking a medication and then you experience and you're going, well, what's going to happen now? Right? Anxiety, bam, it's you again.
Yeah.
But
So I'm like,
right.
I said, screw this shit. And, I immediately took myself off it. I did not like that feeling. To me, that was worse than the anxiety itself.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I have to do something about this naturally. I don't like
That's why
that.
they have all that huge list of side effects include suicide.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Suicide Suicide was a huge factor with Paxil, and they were finding that out fast because when they gave it to me, it was fairly new on the market, and they were finding that especially teenagers that they put on these. I wasn't a teen at the time, which is fine, which was good, but they were finding especially teens were experiencing heightened rates of suicide or suicide attempts on this Paxil. You take yourself off it, you get violently sick, you put on weight, all sorts of weird shit. And thankfully, I didn't have any of those problems when I took myself off. But I know somebody who was on it that went through a terrible time when they took themselves off it. So, I mean, everybody's different, obviously, with their reaction to these prescription drugs. So,
Yeah, I was on the 3 at the same time. He put me on, my doctor.
oh, 3.
Yeah, there was Prozac. I was on Prozac first of all. Then he put me on one called sertraline, and then one called metazapine. So I was
Wow.
3 at the, like every prescription was picking up 3 boxes of tablets. And I was supposed to take them, like, one of them was for nighttime, one of them was for daytime, and one of them was whenever I was anxious. Prozac,
Mm.
like a concoction, and it was actually going on Gareth's mindset when I first went on the panel. I was bad at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually going up on the panel and conquering some fears. That's when I stopped taking them.
So the panel itself, going on the panel, was a fear for you, Frank?
Yeah, it's the first time I showed myself on camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was just overcome a fear, and I felt good about it. And then,
And now you're a natural now, man. You're a
now,
natural.
now I don't even have to drink anymore. Now I can go on a panel soda now, just drinking tea.
Yeah.
It's like walking into the shop and talking to the freaking person behind the counter every day. Like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was incredibly self-conscious. That was the problem with me.
Yeah. I think they call them people who have thin skin. Thin-skinned people let their pretty much everything bother them, and are very self-conscious.
Yeah,
I would.
No, I don't get bothered by anything, but I just get self-conscious. That's all.
Yeah, I mean everyone's different, obviously, in that aspect. But me, I'm bad with. I was letting everything bother me. Like I said, I would think about mortality, and it would just cloud and crowd my thoughts, and just, oh man, come on, how do I get rid of them? Push them aside. But now, I couldn't tell you what anxiety feels like. I couldn't tell you what a panic attack like. I know what it is, but I can't tell you the last time I've had anxiety to the point where it's so unmanageable. And a panic.
have you ever been skydiving?
Have I ever been? No, I'd
So,
like to go skydiving.
I would liken like anxiety to be, it's like sitting at the door about to jump out the airplane, right? And you're thinking to yourself, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
It could go fine or it could go bad in a bunch of ways, right? And it's that, but it's exciting, right? It's like it's a thrill.
It's a rush.
It's
a rush.
to have
Yeah.
a thrill when you're just sitting there, right? And then suddenly you have this feeling of like uncertainty.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're getting pumped with that adrenaline, like you're sitting at the door of the skydiving plane, right? And you don't know whether to jump or not.
Like I've done things that I normally would never have done before, but the thing is, now, like, as opposed to then I'd be like, yeah, exactly. I'd be thinking a very variable. Oh my God, I'm on death's door. I'm gonna die. Whatever. But now, when I'm in that situation, I just sit there and go, okay, let's just get it over and done with. Let's just do it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I mean, this is life. I unfortunately, this is life. You can't control it, and you have to get that through your head that you can't control everything in life. I mean, you can't. No matter how much you try, you can't.
One of the first times I had an anxiety attack, I was telling a friend about it. I was like, my heart's going really fucking fast, and I feel like my hands are sweating, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Right? He says, you're having an anxiety attack. Right? I had never fucking had one before. He's like, go lay down on the couch and put your feet up. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like feeling my heart. I'm like, dude, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like something's going on. He's like, no, it's just anxiety. And he says, and if you are gonna have a heart attack, everybody dies from something. You gotta die from something. He's like, you're gonna die right now from a heart attack. Instantly, it sounds weird, but instantly when he said that, I suddenly became calm, and I was like, hey, you know what? You're right. Am I really gonna fucking just have a heart attack right now for fucking no reason? Just I don't think so. I think I'm just freaking out for no reason, and it suddenly like fell off, right? And it went away.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think a lot more people have gone through it than they would like to admit. I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't want to talk about it, and I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but
a lot of people the past 2 years have. That's for sure.
Sorry?
A lot of people the past 2 years have gone through it.
Well, yeah, the last 2 years have been very stressful on a lot of people, and that's I myself I was right there in the middle of it all the whole time. Working long hours throughout this, and I thought for sure I would sort of return to that sort of dark area, but no, I didn't, which was I guess a test of how far I've come in terms of understanding.
I think it's because you're given challenges.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, it's that like, I mean, in terms of panic attacks, I know what it is. I mean, I can't tell you the last time when one was coming on. It's been so long, but it got to the point where when it was coming on, I knew what it was, and say to myself, it's not the end of the world. It'll pass.
Bleeding
It'll
panic
be fine.
attack. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in trouble if it's an actual heart attack, but thankfully it was never that far. But
yeah,
Well,
you always have to say too is if it's a heart attack, then what am I can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, it's out of your control, man.
What are you going to call the 911? You're going to call the ambulance every single time you have an anxiety attack because you think you're going to have a heart attack. I mean,
what's funny about that? The weirdness about my situation when I was going through my bout of anxiety and not depression, but whatever, was it seemingly would hit the worst on a Sunday night. I don't know why. On a Sunday night, I would get so bad that I would have to literally call 911 and get an ambulance to take me into the hospital. But thankfully that never happened. I mean, my wife, girlfriend at the time, would give me a lift into the hospital, and they would say the same thing. You had a panic attack. Go see your doctor. And you're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to go see a fucking psychiatrist. He's just going to give me shit. I don't want to go see a psychiatrist because they're just, all they do is give you fucking shit to take, and I didn't want to take shit.
And what they do is they dig into your brain and they pull stuff out, right?
Yeah.
And then they repack it into your brain, right? They pull it out and then they have you repack it into your own brain so that you can sift through it again, right?
Yeah.
They resurface it and then you can analyze it again without it being so suppressed or repressed in your brain.
Well, I think the best cure,
but it's not for everybody, right?
The best cure for anxiety and stuff like that is to go on a live stream and show yourself.
Yeah. Believe it or not, the one thing that I found that helped me the most was changing my diet or changing my eating habits. I found that changing my eating habits and sort of I knew one of the biggest contributor was caffeine and smoking. I knew that those two were huge contributors to my situation. And I quit them both. I have said I since have I don't drink coffee, but I do drink caffeinated drinks, I guess, but whatever. But and I did quit smoking. But I found that incorporating that kind of stuff sort of it really helped in my uh, case.
So this teas I've been having, these herbal hemp teas.
Yeah.
These have been helping. Like,
Mm.
they really relax me. So
Speaking of tea, what I grabbed, I did some research when I was going through it, and uh, green tea I found was a huge, but not just any green tea. Most people just go into a grocery store or whatever and buy just green tea, and I found that when you did that, it was Chinese and it was bitter and putrid and just disgusting shit. But I did some research and I started ordering some green tea from Japan, straight from a farm, a little farm in Kyoto. And this stuff was just amazing. Uh, you know, um, Sencha, which it's a mellow green tea, and it's just you don't have to add anything. I mean, some people will, but I always found it just great straight. And I've been ordering the same green tea for almost 20 years now from the
Yeah.
same place.
Those Chinese places, they have like, I don't know if their workers get paid by the pound, but really when they're picking green tea, they're supposed to pick the new leaves, like the new like baby leaves that are popping
Yeah.
out. They're supposed to only pick those, right? Whereas like in Japan, when they have a smaller, I guess, quantity that they're trying to produce, they pay more attention to picking only those tender leaves off
Oh
the top.
man, yeah.
Whereas in
Like
China, they're just trying to fill the bag with tea,
yeah.
right?
And you got twigs in there and everything else, and it's just and you got to remember there. China is notorious for using pesticides.
Yeah, and human
Yeah,
shit to fertilize their
yeah.
crop.
Japan is entirely different, entirely different when they of course it's an age old thing growing green tea, and it does center out of China. I mean, yeah, but Japan has been doing it for centuries, and their method is so much better and healthier. But I found the Japanese sencha was it helped immensely with me, and yeah, there is some caffeine in it, but it's not like coffee or anything like that. But I found it was very not only relaxing, but there's so many other health aspects behind it that I found,
so
including losing weight. I think I put on like when I quit smoking, I think I put on like 30 pounds. And I said, okay, 30 pounds. I got to get rid of that. And green tea was actually one of the best contributors to losing weight. So
yeah, it's an antioxidant as well.
yeah, very very high antioxidant. So
You need antioxidants when you're trying to quit smoking,
yeah,
because it takes those those slow release, because you have like the toxins built up in your system, and it slowly gets released back, and it kind of teases your body into wanting more. Right? You
yeah.
you have to detox to kind of get rid of that. Like I quit smoking like I think 8 years ago now, smoking
Oh, yeah.
cigarettes, and it was the hardest fucking thing I ever did, quitting smoking cigarettes.
I quit smoking for about 6 months one time, and I became the angriest person that I knew.
It's tough.
I was the same way for the first 6 months. I was just pissed off. I used to scream at my cat to shut the fuck up when he would meow. You know, like, yeah, seriously, like, it was just irritable. I had roommates. They would make noise. I'd fucking scream at them to shut the fuck up. You know, I'm trying to sleep. You know, like it just got to the point where they didn't even want to fucking be around me. But it went away. You know.
Yeah, cold turkey for me. I weaned myself off it. It wasn't like I just quit. But I just targeted the times that I would smoke the most and try to eliminate it. And once I was able to do that, I eventually said, okay, well, if I can do that, why don't I just quit? I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. It's really hard. And especially the longer you smoke, it's going to get harder. But I mean, for me, it's been, I guess since 1998, since I quit smoking. So
like I quit smoking 8 years ago. I don't feel any healthier. Right? I don't feel any healthier. I just have more time to do other things, and I have more money for other things.
I know cigarettes are expensive, man. I mean, when I quit,
much time smoking.
I think when I quit, a pack of cigarettes was probably about $10 when I quit. So I couldn't tell you what they are now. I have no idea what they are.
They're over $15, $16.
$16.
The last time I checked, yeah.
They
could be even more now, for all I know.
Even more expensive in the UK.
$1 a cigarette.
We have more tax on our cigarettes, I've read, than you do.
Oh yeah. What would it cost for a pack of smokes there in the UK?
A pack of 20, I think, is about £11, £12 now.
So that's like $22 Canadian.
11
Almost $22 Canadian.
So the majority of the cost of cigarettes here is primarily tax as well. So it's just they keep adding more and more taxes. That's why it keeps going up, right?
Tobacco tax on crops you don't need very much. Tobacco is easy to grow. It's like there's a reason why the settlers that came here from Europe were growing tobacco and stuff, because it's easy to grow. It grows everywhere. It's
like a fucking weed.
More or less. I mean,
gonna buy it. They know
it's
people are gonna buy. Just like gas, they can charge you anything for gas because they know you're gonna buy gas no matter what the price is. You'll spend all the money you have on gas.
Well, I watched a video today of a trucker in Toronto filled up his truck. It wasn't like a massive Arctic or nothing. It was a semi truck.
Yeah.
And filled it up. It cost him $1,100.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I don't know what it is in gallons here, but it's probably about $5. I would say it's probably close to about $5 a gallon here.
Well, Toronto today it was $5.15, I think, or yesterday.
For a gallon?
About 3 liters in a US gallon.
Yeah, because I mean it was about what is it, Alex? About 170 or sorry,
It depends on what you're talking about. Diesel was like it hit like $1.90 at one point.
Yeah, but no, just regular unleaded. It's
it's
$1.75. $1.71.
Yeah, last I saw was $1.75.
Here, I know out in the West Coast, it's $2 now.
In Montreal, it was over $2.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that today or yesterday, that trucker that was diesel he's filling up with was $5.15 a gallon.
Yeah. Diesel,
diesel is $4.50 here, even and it's cheaper here than most places.
And you said earlier. Dan, you said what is it in California? $8 a gallon?
Yeah, it's like $7-8 in some places.
Jesus, holy shit!
And that, I mean, it's fucking insane. You see like these stickers everywhere on the gas pumps, and it's Joe Biden pointing at the price, and it says, "I did that."
So it's 4.5. It's 4.5 liters because we we have to measure. We measure it in liters in the UK.
Yes, here
well,
too.
4.5
Liters.
liters to a UK gallon, but it's like
No, well, I've just typed
to-
in liters in a gallon US, and it says 1 gallon is 4.54 liters US.
one US
Insane.
gallon.
Yeah,
Because I thought it was like
4.54.
3.7 liters is 1 US gallon.
I think maybe pints might be free.
And I know this one time I got a 3-liter bottle. They sell 3-liter bottles of soda here, like these big,
Hang on.
big
US
jugs.
liquid gallon.
I remember they did in Detroit, well, in Michigan too. They had 3 liters of Fago. It was called Fago.
Yeah. Some cheap sodas come in huge 3-liter bottles, and I remember taking a gallon of water, like a US gallon of water, and I poured it into the 3-liter bottle, and it fit almost perfectly. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, so this is like a gallon basically. It's just says it's 3 liters.
Actually, I've just done a US liquid gallon. For some reason, America measure liquids differently to other materials. So a liquid gallon is 3.7, but an ordinary gallon is 4.5.
We'll have to look at. Congratulations, Mars. We knew this is the Sop Sparkle lady, as we call her. She's a part of my paranormal society there. She quit smoking 40 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. Hey,
My
Jamie,
dad-
bring your own fuel.
My dad quit smoking
Buy
after
the
getting
fuel,
ill.
put it in a drum, and bring it with you.
Yeah.
My dad smoked like 60 cigarettes a day for like 50 years, and he got ill, and he just gave up like that, cold turkey. Just stopped overnight.
Yep.
Never started
I
again.
wish I could do it overnight. I mean, it took me a while, but I did it cold turkey. It took a
Some
while.
people have the willpower to do anything.
Yeah, and I don't have the willpower. I've tried, and I've even tried seeing a doctor if there's anything you can help me. Like, I tried hypnotism, and it didn't work. I tried these pills that the doctor gave me, made me suicidal, called Champix.
Ooh,
It's supposed to take-
Champix. I've heard of that. Champix.
It's supposed to take away the craving of smoking or drinking or alcohol or any addiction. It's supposed to take away your cravings.
Why don't you try this, Frank?
Yeah,
Vape.
vaping. That's how I quit
Vape,
smoking.
Because when I tried that, I was huffing it every 2 seconds and coughing my guts up constantly.
Mm.
I was just and it wasn't doing anything for me, so I was just constantly huffing it and then making things bad.
Alex, what are some of the possible side effects with vaping, if any, that they've found?
Well, I mean, it's obviously the best scenario would be to quit cold turkey or quit altogether. As far as which out of the two is better, a lot of the studies indicate that this is better. Now, of course, you take that with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, you don't know what companies are putting into the juice, really.
Yeah, true.
The juice I buy is from a buddy of mine, so I know for a fact he only puts 4 ingredients in the juice: the flavors, the vegetable oil, and the other one. So I know it's pretty relatively safe, I guess, for lack of a better term.
You don't know the long-term effects of inhaling vapor either. So,
right, I mean, exactly. It's still relatively new considering. But I can tell you one thing. I mean, I started smoking when I was 16, and I smoked a pack a day for a very long time. And it got to a point where I was going to sleep at night and I was wheezing. And once I switched to this exclusively, that went away. So, I mean, it did help.
How long did it take you to switch over completely?
Well, when I first started vaping, I had a very small unit. It wasn't this big, right? And I was at 12 milligrams of nicotine in the juice. What's that?
What?
It's a big
It wasn't
fucking
this
unit.
big. It was a small one. It wasn't this big.
A small unit. It was a small unit. But I know right off the bat, I went from a pack a day to half a pack as soon as I started vaping.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing was that I didn't start vaping with the intent of quitting smoking cigarettes. I just wanted to cut down.
Yeah.
Right. And it did that already right off the bat. I mean,
the cheap pens, you know, with the little
Yeah.
tank.
That doesn't do much, those things, right? But and then eventually I started getting, you know, the bigger units, right? And I found myself that I didn't need the 12 milligrams of nicotine, and I started reducing it. And as I started using the bigger units, which burn the liquid a lot better, I started smoking cigarettes less and less. And once I found a liquid that I really enjoyed, which is the one that my buddy does, I just quit altogether, like the cigarette part.
Cigarettes started tasting to me, and when I started really vaping and started putting the cigarettes down and preferring the vape just because it was easier. And after a while, I would try to smoke a cigarette and it would taste like fucking dirt. Or
yeah, oh yeah, that happened to me too.
Fucking gross, man. And I'd pick the vape up and I'd be like, "This actually tastes good. This tastes like a bag of shit. What the hell?" Like,
that happened to me as well.
I'd smell it on my fingers and I'd be like, "Oh, like it's like you got shit on your hands or something." Like, it's fucking weird, man.
You should have picked up a pipe there, Alex.
Yeah. No.
Some of that pipe tobacco is pretty tasty.
I sometimes kind of think about like, oh, I should go get one of those vape mods and just some juice, because I kind of just want to inhale smoke and blow it out. I just want to blow clouds again.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. I love it.
I want to blow out, not even just smoke. I just want to fucking blow the clouds, but it's got to have the nicotine in it, because I did the no nicotine stuff and it was just like it didn't do nothing for me. Like,
no, I'm down to 3 milligrams now. Like I said, I started at 12 when I first started vaping. I'm down to 3 now.
3 is, I think 3 is the best for those big mods. You get so much vapor in them.
That's what I mean. Like, well, as soon as, like, this is why when I first started, I was on those like little dinky ones, and they don't burn the liquid as well as these ones do. And you need the 12 milligrams in those units especially when I used to smoke like a pack a day. But as I got the better mods, I found that 12 milligrams was too harsh, so I had to drop it down to 9, and then eventually to 6, and now I'm at 3.
Oh, just talking
you're at 3.
chain smoking now.
Yes.
I always found that I chain smoked when I was on the computer or watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the 2 points when I found myself smoking a lot.
The only time I don't smoke is when I'm playing my guitar.
Yeah. Or after eating. I don't know, Frank, do you find after having a meal that you smoke a lot?
That was the best time to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, first thing in the morning with a cup of tea, a slice of toast, cigarette, and after every meal. Anytime I have something to eat afterwards, got to have a cigarette.
I think the biggest culprit though is when you go into a pub and have a few beers.
Yeah.
Then you don't remember the count of how many smokes you've had. Wait a sec. Oh shit, I give up.
You know, a few years after I quit smoking, I went to a friend's wedding, and after the wedding, we went to his house for the like after party, and I started drinking, and people started like, "Oh, you want a cigarette? And you want a cigarette?" And like, I was drinking, and I was like, "Fuck it, give me a cigarette." I haven't had one for a long time, and I fucking must have smoked like 10, 15 cigarettes that night, and I woke up, and my throat was just so raw. And I felt sick, like so sick, and I just knew it was because I was smoking, and haven't touched a cigarette since then.
Yeah, I mean, I still enjoy like the smell of a cigarette. I did for a while take up cigar. I never inhaled the cigar smoke. But I enjoyed a good cigar here and there. And of course, I haven't had one in a while, but I mean, I won't mind having a cigar here and there. And again, no, I don't inhale it, but
I got a pipe. I got a little tobacco pipe.
But I mean, some of the I used to love the tobacco that came with pipes.
Yeah, it has a good smell.
I love the
Yeah.
pouches. The pouches.
That's why I got it. That's why I
Yeah.
got the pipe, because it wasn't because I wanted to smoke. It was because I wanted to smell the smoke.
Yeah.
Guys, any of you guys ever done a hookah pipe?
No,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never. No,
Oh,
I
that
never
stuff's
know.
awesome, man.
Is
This
it?
is what a buddy of mine and I did a while ago. He had one, so he came over, and this is when I used to still smoke cigarettes. But he came over, and we're outside in the backyard, and he pours the water, and he had a double apple flavored tobacco molasses that we used. But this is my idea, obviously. I go, let's put some red wine in the water. So we poured some red wine in the water. Man, did that make us fucking mellow after, man? We were toking on that thing, and both of us were like fucking chilling out. We're like, holy fuck, this is mellowing us out. It was awesome.
I did the exact same thing with my mate. I had an Egyptian friend called Akram, and we used to go around his place, and he had a big hookah pipe with he had 4 pipes on it, so we could all share it. 4 hoses, and and that's what he had as well, apple tobacco, and he used to put wine on it as well.
Yeah, it's freaking
That's
awesome.
weird.
It's awesome.
It's kind of like people who put tomato juice in their beer.
Oh no,
Oh man.
no, that's wrong.
You take
I know. I know
V8
it's wrong.
and beer and you mix them together. It's actually pretty good.
Well, sorry, which one?
A V8 and a beer. And you
Oh
just mix
yeah.
them together. It's pretty good. Or a clamato juice and a beer.
The only thing I'd put Tia Maria into a Guinness. It
Really?
tastes like vanilla chocolate.
Yeah, it's like
yeah?
Yeah, it's lovely. It gets you really drunk though.
the tomato one is like it's really good with like when you're eating like pretzels and stuff, like it's good with peanuts and pretzels and shit because it's salty.
Yeah.
It kind of complements that saltiness.
But it just goes to show you though. I mean, hand in hand, booze and smoking go hand in hand too, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more you drink, the more you smoke. The more you smoke, the more you drink. But then again,
they used to have those cigarette machines.
Oh yeah,
places that would serve alcohol all day, and you could just put your money in, and the box of cigarettes would drop out.
Those were cool, man. Those cigarette machines, man. Those were awesome.
You don't see them.
Let's dream.
They outlawed those here in Canada a long time ago.
Oh yeah, but they were cool. I mean, that's like a lot. Well, yeah, exactly. You go to Japan though, man. Some of the fucking vending machines. Speaking of that shit, some of the fucking vending machines they have in Japan. Holy shit!
Like used panties.
Yeah, used panties.
Everybody brings up the used panties machine, right?
Of course,
always.
Because that's like one of the weirdest things, man. It's like, what the hell? Why would you want to buy used panties?
Like not just used, but like guaranteed to be filthy.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
That's like putting tomato juice on beer.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
with a little bit of coffee grinds.
Ah.
Oh.
You get a. Okay, I was gonna say something really bad, but I'm not gonna go there.
No, you're not.
Yeah, the michelada.
Michelada.
Yeah, the Modelo ones are good.
Beer. Oh yeah. I want to try one of those. Actually, Justin was on the show a couple. Was it last week?
A couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah, he was drinking one of the. He was drinking the michelada.
Yeah, some pretzels. But of course, and michelada. Oh man, just so good.
So what do they put? Okay, so what's in the michelada? Is Modelo and what?
And it's like a tomato juice with like spices. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it's like almost like I don't know if they put cilantro or something in there or what, but it's like it's very Mexican tasting.
I'm not a big cilantro
really
fan.
Nice.
I love cilantro. I'm gonna have to try it.
I can't get in.
Some people hate it.
I don't like cilantro.
I love it.
I can eat coriander anytime, which is the same sort of thing. But cilantro. There's just something about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it has a cilantro taste because
Okay.
some people think cilantro tastes like soap, right?
Yeah, it's got that really weird off flavoring. I just
I
yeah.
fucking love it.
A bitter, but I fucking love it too, man. I fucking love
Yeah.
it, especially with some tacos.
Tacos, burritos. I tell them to put extra cilantro when I go get my burritos. Man.
Oh fuck no. Hey, enough. There's enough in it's like salsa and like authentic salsa, but no more.
Yeah.
I'd
No
bathe
extra.
in it if I could.
You look like you would. You look
I do
like
like
you
the
would
smell
bathe
of
in
it.
it, man.
Cilantro,
in fact, let me guess, you probably fucking shave with cilantro.
I do.
that's why he looks so young.
Yeah.
Oh, his head just grew bigger now. Thanks a lot there, Dan.
He looks
Pretty
like
soon-
he does look younger than the video you showed of you guys from like 11 years ago or whatever. Where you're
Oh
standing
yeah, holy shit.
and, like,
That's
you
scary
guys look
watching
older
that.
in that video. You guys looked older in that video than you do now somehow. I don't
Really?
know. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
That's-
thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's a compliment. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was 10, 12 years ago. That was what episode 2 of
Nocturnal night shots.
Nocturnal Night Shots.
Yep.
Wow. And here we are struggling to get episode 3, even though episode 3 is technically
Documentary.
is now a documentary in the works.
Yeah, I got a lot of people asking about that, Steve.
Like I said, we got to fine tune it, buddy. Fine tune it, man. I want to make this really good, and I don't want to make it half-ass. I want it really, really good. I want people to enjoy it, because what we've stumbled upon, I think is really intriguing, and I really would like to convey that in the finished product. So I don't want to be half-assed about it. So, like I said, we need more footage. We really do.
Question is,
So-
when are we gonna get the more footage?
Well, we'll have to do it soon.
We could do it like soon before the thaw comes, because it's
Before
gonna be like
the
a swamp.
thaw.
It's
Well,
gonna be a
no,
fucking swamp in there.
it's not. We're used to the swamp. Look at Gord, Dr.
Gord went
Deeping
swimming that night, but
Gord
that's a
went
different story.
swimming in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the ticks you got to worry about when it warms up.
Right, which is another reason why I'd rather go now. Because
Well, we
the
will.
ground is still hard and it'll be easier to walk on. And we
Well,
don't have to worry about that.
Possibly next Friday.
Yeah, set it up. Let's
Oh,
do
I
it.
have. I just told you. There you go.
Yeah, you just told me. Oh, okay.
Well, guys, so we're talking about the Dark Wood lot. We've been working on it for a couple of years now, and
Yeah.
it just seemingly it was originally an episode. It is now turned into a documentary. So pretty
Be on the lookout.
pretty screwed up shit going on.
Darth joking says he'd probably be dead if he ever smoked more than one cigarette.
Really?
Is like asthma or what? I don't know where he got that, where he said that. But have you seen that movie, Thank You for Smoking?
No.
No.
Oh, gosh, it has the guy that played Two-Face.
Tommy Lee Jones?
No, not Tommy Lee Jones.
The other guy, right?
In the newer Batman.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And God, what? Well, anyway, he's a big tobacco spokesman. Like he sells cigarettes basically. He's like the spokesman for big tobacco, and he's just like he's the one that tells you that cigarettes are harmless and everything, and smokes all the time. And then he gets like kidnapped by these people in a van, like activists, and they stick nicotine patches all over his body, like all over his body, and he almost dies from the poisoning. And the doctor's like, he survives, but the doctor tells him, if you smoke one more cigarette, it will kill you.
Oh, God.
And so he's like the spokesman for big tobacco, yet if he smokes one cigarette, he'll die. Right?
That's talk about irony.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
good movie too. Yeah, it is a good movie. Thank you for
I saw a good movie about the true story of DuPont. And,
DuPont?
Yeah, you know they made the non-stick.
Yeah.
It's a true story of DuPont being taken to court over
Or for Teflon or whatever it was.
Teflon. Yeah, caused
Yeah.
cancer in all their workers and the people that surrounding working in the factories and the people living in the surrounding areas. The water table got contaminated and it went on for like 30 years, and it follows for 30 or 40 years. The court like trying to get justice for people. It's a brilliant film. It's a true story. It's called Dark Waters. But at the end of that film, I guarantee if you've got a non-stick pan, it'll be in the bin by the time you finish watching the.
Even before that, I said to myself, come on. You're telling me this shit doesn't leach into the food?
Yeah, it does.
It guaranteed it leaches into the food. I've never been a fan of
Teflon pans. The Teflon pans always like have these little tiny flakes that come off, right? It kind of becomes fuzzy. It kind of becomes fuzzy after a while, and you don't really notice it when you're washing it or anything. But those little tiny flakes get into your food, and then they stick to the inside of your, the lining of your, your gut, and it just sits there, right? And it can like cause stomach cancers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
film, it's an awesome film, like really well made film. Worth a watch if you're into that sort of thing.
give me a cast iron pan any day.
Yeah, cast iron is the way to go.
Copper bottom cast iron pan.
I love cast iron, man. Anything I use cast iron. I don't like Teflon at all. I've never been a fan of it, and I knew just the thought of it always made me weary. I don't care what anyone says if they're safe or not. I don't think they're safe. I don't.
Yeah, so I don't think so either.
It's like microwaving food. It's like microwaving food and putting yourself in putting food in these containers that are microwavable safe. I don't trust it.
Well, it's got estrogen in BPA plastics. It's an estrogen compound. Well, it mimics estrogen. It's the same compound that's in BPA plastics, and it leaches into your food when you microwave it. It's in plastics.
Well, like nowadays, everything says BPA free for a reason, right? They're advertising that it doesn't have BPA because people are starting to realize, like, hey, that's a bad thing to have. It's
not buying that. So they have to change it.
For the microwave, Darth's joking. He was asking cast iron for what? I prefer, and now I know it's talking about cooking and shit. I know a lot of people. It's just so full of carcinogens, but I love smoking. I don't give a shit. I love smoking food. It's such an incredible. It brings.
You'll never get me to stop eating smoked brisket ever.
Oh, smoked brisket! You guys, look at you guys down in Texas have some of the best, man. I'll tell you right now. Holy shit! Fuck you! Come on, smoked brisket down there.
I haven't really went around the world and tried brisket everywhere else, but
no, trust me. I had some down there outside, just outside of Austin. Where the hell was it now?
You went to a famous place. I remember you saying.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it was the best brisket ever, man.
It's like incredible. Smoked for like 16 hours or something. Like that.
This huge open pit, and they're like literally smoking it up top. It was just so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah, I like smoked fish.
Yeah.
John says nothing beats burnt food.
Smoked food doesn't. Smoked food is not burnt food.
No, it's not. It's just it's cooked to perfection.
It's like cured in
Cured,
smoke.
yeah. Slow. Have you ever had a smoked turkey?
No.
Yeah, it was the best. Fucking
How
turkey
is it?
I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, it was the best turkey I've ever had. Like we've deep fried turkeys before. We've done it in the oven, but let me tell you, making it in a smoker, if you do it right, it's so good. Yeah,
I want to do a smoked turkey, but my wife's like, no, because she wants the stuffing. Because you can't do stuffing in a smoked turkey.
Yeah,
But,
you have to cook the stuffing in a separate container and then
Yeah,
put it in there.
yeah. I'd love to smoke
But
a turkey.
it's totally worth it. It's worth the time and effort. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Darth. Now you're getting into heavy stuff, eh? He's talking about crispy burnt bacon. You know what? Fucking burnt caramelized pork belly.
Yeah.
Smoked pork belly
Oh,
is so
gorgeous.
good. Are you guys getting hungry?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, kind of getting hungry.
Pork belly. The nicest pork ever is when you've had it. It's on a spit and it's been cooking for
And
hours
it's like
and hours.
sitting on the outside.
So good.
And you cut into the crackling around the belly.
Yeah.
And it's just crunchy crackling, and you just cut a slab out of like pork belly, and it's all lovely and
It's
soft.
like really
and full.
moist.
Candy pork belly is the best. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. Oh, it's so addictive and it's so bad for you, but who cares?
Do you ever get the pork rinds, the pork cracklings or whatever they call them there?
Scratchings,
scratchings, or Apparently, I never knew this recently, but the fat that's in pork cracklings or chicharrones, if you're Mexican, you call them chicharrones. The fat is actually a good cholesterol. It has a good cholesterol
really?
that is actually good for you. Yeah, it lowers bad cholesterol.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought coming from pork?
Just pork fat. It's just pork fat fried, right? And it's somehow good for you. Yeah.
you ever fry bacon? You ever fry bacon and inside you get these little I don't know, the white lineage or whatever the hell that shit is.
Yeah.
And you're like, I gotta get rid of that.
Stringy
fat,
things.
little stringy fat shit.
Yeah, they're like tendons.
The tendons, yeah. Oh my god,
like
man! That's it. I'm gonna have to spark up the fucking smoker here. I'm hungry now. Oh man!
I've got some. I had Chinese tonight, and I've saved half of it. So I've got some king prawns.
You can never go with Chinese. Never go bad with Chinese. Wrong with Chinese. Oh my god!
I made a happy accident. Well, not an accident. A happy experiment the other day where I got a rotisserie chicken, and sometimes when the rotisserie chicken's sitting in the little pan, it gets kind of soggy on the underside where it's sitting in the juices. The skin gets soggy.
Yeah.
Like you peel all that soggy fatty skin off of the chicken. And you put it in an air fryer and you fry it, and it's so good. It's
those air fryers are fucking dangerous, man. Are
they?
Oh my! Well, I mean, like in terms of
in a good way.
In a good way.
Oh, I thought you meant like they burn your house down or something.
No. The food that comes out of them, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
When they first come on the market, there were lots of fires with them, like they did burst into flames lots of times.
Yeah,
they had to figure out how to make them right.
But now it's like, holy shit, man! You throw anything in them.
I have to get one. I haven't got one.
Yeah, I think you can get them for like $30, $40 or something like that.
Yeah, they're a lot cheaper now. A lot cheaper.
Like I have a little one. It's just like a 2-quart. It's really small.
Yeah, I have to get a small one. I don't have a lot of room. I've only got a really small kitchen, so
yeah. Well, same here. I'm gonna care of it.
just got a cooker and a sink in there and a fridge freezer. That's it. That's all. That's all that'll fit in there at the minute.
My wife, she makes homemade wings in the air fryer, and holy crap, she makes them, and homemade sauce for them too, barbecue and Cajun and all that kind of shit. And holy shit, they're the best fucking wings. You don't need to go to a pub. What's that?
I like my chicken wings to be slightly overdone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect. Hey, the air fryer does them perfectly, man.
Yeah.
The fat's got to turn crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fat's got to turn. If they're like wet on the inside, they're not good.
No, God, no. They got to be nice and yeah, exactly. Like
almost dry, so that
almost dry, but not completely dry.
Exactly.
You want to have a little bit of moisture, but not a lot.
The nicest burnt fat on any meat, I think, is leg of lamb, and you've been cooking it for like 10 hours, and then all the end bits where the bone is sticking out, all go crispy, and you just peel it off the bone, and it's gorgeous. The minute it comes out,
I want to try.
I don't know. I've never a big lamb fan. I mean, the only lamb I really have eaten is mixed in with beef, and that's with euros, right? Greek euros.
It's best just like a plain leg of lamb with a bit of rosemary on it.
Hey, you're the first person I've ever heard say euros correctly.
Oh, really?
Well,
They call them gyro.
Gyros.
Yeah. Gyros.
I love gyros. I'm always like
gyros.
Euros.
What are those things? What are gyros?
You mean euros?
Yeah.
Euros?
Oh, I love euro, man. I love him, man.
What's that dish they do that's got like stale bread at the bottom and it's covered in sauce and then layered? It's like a lasagna, but it's made of stale bread at the bottom. It's a Greek thing, I think.
I don't know.
They serve it in like a tagine. They do it in my local. I've got a place in town, Greek place, and they do it. It's expensive though. Can't remember what it's called.
I don't know what it is.
It's like something tagine. Can't remember what it's called.
I just think of the fucking fried cheese shit that they do. You know that Opa shit. Opa! And they fucking burst the cheese on fire there. You don't want to be too close, otherwise your hair is singed. I'm okay. Alex, you're okay. You don't have to worry about any hair.
You cook a piece of bacon or a bunch of bacon, and then you dip it in pancake batter, and you cook the bacon in the pancake batter, so it makes little.
I've never done that.
Bacon.
That is cool. I like that idea. I've never done that before.
Sounds like a heart attack waiting to happen. That does.
That sounds good, man.
Bacon pancakes, man. It is.
Bacon pancakes. Wow, that's a good idea. I like that. That's a good idea. It's amazing the shit that you do that most people would never think about doing, but they, it's like, hey, have you ever heard of the what? What?
French toast. Like
that doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. It sounds good.
It is good.
Yeah, French toast. Oh, you can't go wrong with French toast.
Yeah,
oh my god,
Steve, that flaming cheese is called the saganaki.
Saganaki, yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Best French toast I ever had was in Canada. At a
Why?
Waffle House or something. I don't know. I think that in Canada they make. Well, maybe it was the syrup that they had, like actual real maple syrup and shit. Like,
fucking
like
the maple syrup. The maple syrup from Quebec is really good. Oh my god, is it ever good? It is so good. If you ever go to Quebec, most people will tell you to grab poutine as well, right? That's another staple in Quebec.
Poutine. Yeah,
poutine is good, but sometimes it depends on where you get it.
Yeah, it definitely depends on where you get it.
Yeah,
just put regular cheese on it instead of cheese.
Well, it's not so much the cheese; it's the gravy.
It's the gravy. The
If
gravy.
it's not
makes-
good gravy, it tastes like shit.
Oh yeah, just it's garbage. But and not to mention when you fucking have a nice heaping of that, you're fucking tired. You're gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's fucking gravy. You know what gravy is? Gravy is like
Uh,
gravy is like pure fat and flour mixed together.
oh, I know. It's
I
so
like
good.
maple syrup has got loads of uses. You can use it in savoury and sweet stuff. It's lovely.
Oh fuck yeah, maple syrup. Yeah,
Yeah.
Real man.
it's
Crazy
amazing.
John was saying, love maple syrup, but even have it in my gravy.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a
I love-
maple
I love it
syrup
in the
here
ice
at the
cream.
store that's a mix. It's a mix of half maple syrup and half honey. It's like half and half.
Yeah.
It's actually it's really good.
Put maple syrup in your ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh,
thought-
it's good in the ice cream.
It's
That's
fucking
right.
awesome
Fry
in ice
maple
cream.
syrup. You can deep fry
I-
maple syrup as well.
Oh, maple syrup. There's just so many things you can do with it, man. And oh my god, it's so good.
Well, that's what they've always done on our
Maple
local ice cream man. We have ice cream vans would ring the bell or play
Yeah.
the music.
Have you
Yeah.
ever had the maple water where
And you get a
it's like
cornet.
the mouth sap?
You get a cornet
Yeah.
with the ice cream in it, and they put maple syrup over it. That's like they've always done that here in England. Maple syrup
Maple-
in the ice cream.
Darth joking says maple syrup and waffles. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, with a little
Mhm.
bit of butter on there, and oh
Mhm.
my god.
Fried chicken, believe it or not, fried chicken and waffles with syrup is actually a really good combination.
That must be a southern thing.
It is.
I'm just kidding.
It really
I'm just
is. No, it's not. It really is a southern thing. Yeah.
kidding. It is, but yeah.
But it's good. You have no idea how good syrup is on fried chicken until you have it. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I would believe it because I think maple syrup makes a lot of things so tasty.
Mm.
You know, it's just
But
You're
maple
like,
syrup
"Why?"
flavored things is nasty.
yeah, but even a fucking beer, even in a stout, in a barrel aged stout, they have some of them will use maple syrup.
Mm.
It is so fucking good.
They had a maple
It is-
syrup soda here that was like a seasonal. It was like a seasonal maple syrup soda, and it was like the first taste of it was like, oh wow, that's actually like kind of good, right? And then the second taste is like, holy shit, that's fucking nasty. And like the 11 of the 12 pack just sits in the fridge for fucking years. You know, or you give it away to somebody like, here, you can have it. I don't want this shit. It is. It's good. It's like, oh, that's nice.
Well, I think I'm going to have to step down and
yeah, we're going to end this guy, guys.
Live still on Twitch.
Sorry.
I'm starving.
Yeah, this is making us all hungry.
Right?
Guys-
Chicken waffles.
Thanks for coming on and sharing your stories and everything else, guys. Really appreciate it. First time for Frank. Thanks, Frank. Finally had you on. Really appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care, everyone, and thanks for joining us in chat. We're back next Sunday night. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Cheers. Good night.